So God is leading me to do a different type of video. Normally, I only come on here when He wants me to deliver a word, and He will use some of my life circumstances as um, examples of the the way He's um, leading me and some of you, the watchers, the viewers. And I don't know if someone's been asking God about my personal life or wanting to understand the walk that I've had. Um, so I know I've spoken of my memoir, and God has put me on hold. I don't know why. He just hasn't. Normally, when He gives me an assignment, I finish it. But I will finish it. I know I'm going to finish it because He has things that He wants me to include. But right now, He just said, He hasn't, like whenever I think about going and getting my my laptop and sitting down and continuing to write about my life, something else catches my attention, something else that He wants me to focus on. So whether it's He tells me I need to leave and I need to go somewhere else, or not distractions from the enemy. He doesn't allow Lucifer to interfere with my work for Him very much. The interference happened a lot during the 40 years that I spent under this woman who raised me. And He had been highlighting things throughout the 40 years. I knew something was off or something was wrong with my relationship with her, because from the beginning I was little, and I remember wondering why she would slap me, why she would pull my hair, but I didn't see her doing that to the other kids. And to talk to her about this, because I would periodically ask her, like, why do you treat me like this? What is it that I'm doing that is causing you to treat me this way? And she would tell me that I was a difficult child. And I'm like, huh? I didn't understand what she was saying, because her kids, and that's how I would tell her, your kids are difficult. I said, your kids are the ones jumping on the couches and jumping on the mattresses, and your kids are running up and down the stairs, and your kids are the ones not doing their chores, and your kids are running outside when they're not supposed to, and your kids, and that's how I would tell her, your kids, your kids. And I remember, and this happened early on with her, where when I was talking to my siblings, because I have two brothers and a sister, and I would tell them my mom. I wouldn't say our mom. I would say my mom. And they would say my mom. And one day we were with a bunch of friends, my brother Sergio and I. He's actually almost an entire year younger. He's like a year and a few weeks younger. And I remember we were arguing about something. We were little. We were probably like 9, 10 years old. And the kids that were friends with us looked at us and they're like, why, do you guys have the same mom? And we're like, yeah. Why do you guys not say our mom? Why do you guys say my mom? And I would look at them like, duh, because she was my mom first. And they're like, but you all came from her, so she's your mom. But we never talked like that about my dad. My dad was our dad. Or we would just say dad. We wouldn't say our dad. Because, and I think being young like that, we knew. So I'm still not released to share their story because they haven't been told. But when I was young, I remember that the woman that raised me would tell me that my dad's mom and his sister would sit at the dining room table and they didn't know she was listening in. And that was her thing. She always was creeping and she was always hiding and she was always in the shadows. And to me, that was not right. To me, that was something that evil people do. And so in my mind, I'm trying to reconcile her behavior and what she's saying and her words to the things that I'm seeing, because God says, by the fruits, by their fruits, you will know them. And I didn't see my grandmother and my aunt or any of my uncles doing the things that she was doing, hiding in the corners, up at night at 2 in the morning. She'd be walking around the house with all the lights off, just walking. And I found her that way a couple of times because I was a light sleeper when I was a child. And because a lot of things went bump in the night and I could see them and I could hear them and I could feel them, and I was that open to the spiritual world, and I could see the evil. I could see what she was conjuring up. I didn't know it was her because in my mind she was portraying my grandmother as the witch. She was portraying my grandmother as the family curse maker. She was the one that was causing all of these bad things to happen to us because she would say things like, oh, one day I woke up and your grandmother was putting salt around the doors, on the so like the entry, what do they call it, the threshold. She would put a line of salt. I never saw my grandmother do this. I never witnessed any of those things from my grandmother. Yet the woman that raised me says she did. That she witnessed this, that she was the one. And I'm like, but the only one I ever saw do those things was her. And then she would say that my grandmother would take a saint, and his name is San Martin de Porres, which is, I can't remember how it's said in English, but he's a saint that of dark skin, and he was the saint of the children, and he was the saint of the animals, the dogs specifically, because he loved dogs and he loved children, and he was a very blessed man by God. And my grandma, the woman that raised me, would tell me that my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, would put him upside down with a penny on his face. So until he granted her whatever she was asking for. Yet the only one I ever saw with that saint was the woman who raised me. My grandmother never had that saint in her room. I was allowed in every inch of my grandmother's house. I was allowed in every part of her dwelling. There was not any room off limits to me. However, the woman that raised me had rooms that were off limits. And over the years of her building this labyrinth, when God sent me to California, I remember having a dream, but it wasn't a dream. It was, how can I explain this? It was like having an out-of-body experience. And it looked like my bedroom, but the paint was peeling. So I went over to the corner and I started scratching at the wall, and the paint started falling off. And I could see writing on the wall. And I understood that I was awake. I understood that I was in this place spiritually. And I was looking around and I'm like, Father, why is there writing on the wall? Why is my name on this wall? Why are there curses on this wall? Because the writing in some places was actual letters and I could read what it said. But the majority of the writing was, to me, it looked like chicken scratch, but it was symbols. All of it was in symbolism. And I was just like, and then I started to really see with my eyes, and I started to see these witchcraft things hanging from the walls, and I was calling God in. I'm like, Father, you need to come in here. You need to see this. You need to tell me what this is that's going on. I don't understand. And I'm looking around and I'm freaking out. And I'm going, Father, whatever this room is, I am rebuking it. I am asking you to pour the blood of the Lamb over it. As soon as I said to pour the blood of the Lamb over it, this woman walks in and she looks like the witch. And I don't know if any of you have seen Robin Hood, but the sheriff's mother had like scraggly salt and pepper hair, and she had on these like cloaky looking clothes. This is how this woman looked, but her clothes weren't black. They were white and they had symbols on them. And she comes in and she goes, what are you doing in here? You're not supposed to be in here. You're not even supposed to know this room exists. She goes, how did you find it? How did you get in here? And I turned around and I said, and this is your doing? And I'm like, oh, one moment, please. I said, Father, you need to come in here and you need to send your angels and you need to send your sentries and you need to send your warriors in here because they need to battle. They need to destroy this room. They need to, whatever witchcraft, whatever evil is being sent out of this room, you need to come in here and you need to clean it and you need to clear it and you need to protect whoever this words are against or whoever is being hurt by these words, Father. I pray that you come in here and that you destroy it and you take it down by the power of the blood of the Lamb. I pray that you bring it in here and you destroy this thing. And she went to put her hands on me. And I had forgotten about this part. She went to put her hands on me, to push me out. And I saw this gold light shove her back. And I was pulled out with such force and